Good morning, Willard Wildcats. Happy February 23rd. Today is Tuesday, and we have a birthday to celebrate today. Happy birthday to Annie B. We hope you have a wonderful birthday on this Tuesday. Wildcats, we have a special guest reader today. Mrs. Daniel is here. So now the book today that we're going to read is called The Undefeated by Kwame Alexander and Kadir Nelson. It has won 3 awards already. It has won the Coretta Scott King Award. It has won the Caldecott Medal, and it has won the Newbery Honor. So being a Newbery Honor book is pretty special, along with being a Coretta Scott King Award winner and with being a Caldecott Honor book. So today, Wildcats, The Undefeated, will be read by Mrs. Daniel, and I will be showing you the illustrations. And I am hoping that today Mrs. Daniel will share some of what she knows about the history in today's book with us.
This is for the unforgettable, the swift and sweet ones who hurled history and opened a world of possible.
And Mrs. Daniel, this is the picture that goes with today's page, the first page. Can everyone see that first page?
Yes. The ones who survived America by any means necessary.
Thank you, Mrs. Daniel. Look at this beautiful illustration, everyone. Here you go.
And the ones who didn't.
It's interesting how the illustrator chose to leave that blank, isn't it, Mrs. Daniel?
Yes, it is. This is for the undeniable, the ones who scored with chains on one hand and faith in the other.
Thank you, Mrs. Daniel. Do you see that beautiful picture?
This is for the unflappable, the sophisticated ones who box adversity and tackle vision.
And Mrs. Daniel, here's this beautiful illustration.
Who shine their light for the world to see and don't stop till the break of dawn.
Mrs. Daniel, here is this beautiful picture.
This is for the unafraid, the audacious ones who carried the red, white, and weary blues on the battlefield to save an imperfect union.
Thank you, Mrs. Daniel.
The righteous marching ones who sang, "We shall not be moved," because Black lives matter.
Thank you, Mrs. Daniel. Look at these beautiful people.
Yeah. Now, if you take a look at this page, it has no words, but it speaks volumes. Yes, it does. This is for the unspeakable. Now, this page represents what the slaves looked like on the slave ship when they were coming to America from Africa.
Thank you, Mrs. Daniel.
This is for the unspeakable. Now, on this page, I can share a little bit about my history. These 4 girls that you see on this picture were had an act of violence done to them when they were sitting in the church in the basement, 16th Street Avenue Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, where I grew up. I knew 2 of the girls, Carol Robinson and Denise McNair. That was a very, very sad day in our history. Carol Robinson was one of the girls that I used to play with when she would visit her aunt in my neighborhood. She would always come over to visit. And Denise McNair was a girl that I would also play with at Center Street, where I went to school, and her mother was also a teacher there. So how well I remember those 2 girls. A very sad day in our history.
Thank you, Mrs. Daniel, for sharing that and sharing your important perspective on that historical event.
This is for the unspeakable.
Beautiful memorial built.
This is for the unlimited, unstoppable ones, the dreamers and doers who swim across the big sea of our imagination and show us the majestic shores of the promised land. On this page, I'm sure you recognize this picture. This is a picture of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. When I was growing up, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would always come and visit our church, and my church was 6th Avenue Baptist Church, and that's where they would hold a lot of the civil rights meetings, along at also with 16th Street Baptist Church. My parents were very active in the civil rights movement during the 60s, and they would always attend the meetings when Dr. Martin Luther King was in Birmingham, Alabama. Also, I was very frightened for them too. I wouldn't go to bed until they returned from the meetings.
Thank you, Mrs. Daniel. It always inspires me to hear that you were able to hear Dr. King speak in your church.
The Wilma Rudolphs, the Muhammad Alis, the Aletha Gibsons, the Jesse Owens, the Jordans and the LeBrons, the Serenas and the Cheryls, the Reese Whitleys, and the undiscovered.
There's so many important people to pick out of this picture, aren't there, Mrs. Daniel?
Yes, it is. A part of history.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is for the unbelievable, the we real cool ones. This is for the unbending, the black as the night is beautiful ones. On this picture, I noticed quite a few jazz musicians. Duke Ellington, Miles Davis, Pearl Bailey, just to name a few.
So many important musicians.
Yes. This is for the underdogs and the uncertain, the unspoken, but no longer untitled.
Thank you, Mrs. Daniel.
This is for the undefeated. This is for you, and this is for us.
Mrs. Daniel, look at all these beautiful faces.
Beautiful, beautiful faces.
Mrs. Daniel, it's been a treat to be read to today by you, and it has been a treat to hear about your experiences. Thank you so much for honoring us with your experiences, Mrs. Daniel.
Thank you for the privilege again to read the book, The Undefeated. It's always a pleasure. And I love my Willard family. I miss everybody.
Your Willard family loves you, Mrs. Daniel. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.